Good morning. It is 7:28 a.m. on Friday, July 31st, 2020. I am Christiana Ellis, and I've been up for a little while, and I'll explain that in a moment. This is 5 more minutes. So, big milestone last night. It's the first night that Rocket slept in my bed with me all night instead of having to go in his crate. It's pretty good. There had been a couple of aborted experiments before where we would start off with him up in the bed rather than in his crate, but he just wasn't going to sleep. He wanted to play, and he was just fussing around enough that we eventually would put him in his crate. But last night, there was a couple of times where he's shifting around, and that woke me up a little bit, but that's fine. But, mostly he was up there to sleep. And, honestly, I had backed off of that, of letting him be up there for a little bit, because we had an incident last weekend where he peed on the bed. And that was not when we were trying to go to bed. I think what happened there was when he was scared of the vacuum cleaner. So that wasn't great, and I had sort of backed away from having him have free access to the bed. But I think it was also special circumstances there, and it had become clear to me since then that there were times when we were getting ready to go to bed where he clearly wanted to be up on the bed, and he was, for the longest time he had been just very happy to just trot right into his crate and go to bed. But then once I started presenting as a possible alternative that he could be up on the bed, he clearly preferred that. And so last night it worked out. Now, we're in a slightly different frame of mind this morning, because as we were getting up this morning, I was just kind of scratching him, and I found what I think is a tick on his neck. And obviously that's not ideal. It's kind of gross, but I've had to do it before. And so I had to go look for my tweezers to remove the tick. But then by the time I got the tweezers, I couldn't find the tick anymore. And I kept looking, and Rocket became increasingly frustrated and uncomfortable with me feeling around like that. And so we both, I didn't find it again, and he just got kind of really sort of stressed out and anxious with me for not letting him go. And he's like, "What are you doing? This is weird." And it just turned into a whole thing. I mean, it's fine, but he's, just was, I made the decision that I would try again later. I actually have a pretty early vet appointment with him where I'm taking him in to get a vaccination booster just a little bit later this morning. In fact, actually, by the time I get this video posted, I'm going to have to, make myself presentable and get out the door. Fortunately, the vet is nearby, so I don't have far to go or anything like that. But yeah, adventures in pet ownership, you got the highs and the lows. And this low isn't that low. It's more just like poor little dog doesn't know why I'm fiddling with his neck so much. It's like, but I guess part of the other thing is that his undercoat is so thick and fluffy compared to Luna's. It's actually a lot harder to sort of search through looking for ticks, which in some respects actually might make it harder for ticks to take hold. But once they get in there, it's harder for me to get at them. So, might mention that to the vet just in case they have a little bit of an easier time. To be sure, if there's the two of them in there, they can, hold him a little better. But yeah, but it's also, due to the whole coronavirus thing, it's still the situation where I wait out in the car while they do the appointment. They come out and pick him up and take him in, and I don't ever go into the office, which, it's like I appreciate the precautions being taken. It's still kind of scary how, like in some regards, of course, we have seen some of the trend of increasing in cases be arrested somewhat, and it's kind of more of a plateau now. But We're also seeing the deaths increase, because it's just like people said it would, like you have the cases going up and they're saying, well, yeah, but if the cases aren't going up, the deaths aren't going up. It's like, well, okay, but wait, because people don't die right away when they get it. So it's lagging indicator. And now it's happening, and it's just such a mess. I mean, it's times like this that I feel glad that I have, well, a lot of things actually. I mean, I'm very lucky in many respects, and I definitely appreciate that. But in particular, what I'm thinking about this morning is that I have a sweet little dog to keep me company in quarantine. So I'll leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.